So this video is based on operations and it's the follow-up video from flow production, and this video is specifically looking at job production. So what is job production? Job production tends to be labour intensive. It often employs or requires highly skilled labour, and it is where items are made individually and each item is finished before the next one is started. So it's pretty much the whole production process, often by maybe one employee or a group of employees that start from the very beginning to the very end. So what this video will do, this video will delve into the reasons why a company may decide to use job production rather than other production processes, and put the possible limitations as well. So as you could see from some of the examples of the products that were being produced by this job production, we had specifically designed clothing, such as the tailored suits or the wedding dress. We had buildings, we had ships, we even had bespoke furniture. And the reason why these are examples of some of the products that are produced via job production is because of how unique they can be. If you think about, for example, a wedding dress, that wedding dress can be designed exactly how you want it for your special day. Maybe it's based on other designs, but then you can speak to the designer and say, actually, this is how I want it being personalised, and this is how I want it to be different from, for example, other designs that maybe you've seen and you've liked. With regards to suits, again, you can tailor it, you can have it fit exactly how you want it to fit you. When we're looking at handmade furniture, you can give them the dimensions that you want it. Maybe it's fit for a specific room in your house and it has to be a specific measurement. Maybe you want a specific design, maybe you want a specific function towards the furniture. You can do that because it is being designed exactly for your needs. When we're looking at ships and we're looking at buildings, we're looking at bridges, again, because they are so unique and they're for a specific situation, a specific circumstance, they can be designed exactly how you want it for that situation. So just a reminder, what is job production? Well, job production, as I mentioned before, is often labour intensive. That's not to say that they won't use capital. So for example, we can see with a ship, there is a great use of capital, but also there will be high levels of labour involved as well. So it does depend on the product. But usually the labour that are involved are highly skilled. And it is where items are made individually. So you're not going to get that continuous production line that you might get in, for example, flow production. It's going to be one-off items made from the start to the very end, where the item is completely finished before the next one is started. So when we're looking at the benefits, and again, I've already mentioned this, but we can see that how it's much more flexible towards customer needs. If again, we're comparing it to other production processes and we're looking at flow production, that's just continuously put on a production line and one just gets turned over and so on. But it's very, very difficult to then stop it and personalize it towards what the customer wants because of how it's just automatically going through that production line. But with job production, because it's usually a one-off item and it's done from start to finish, you can discuss before you even start producing it, or you can edit it during production, and you can be as flexible as you can be, as you want, towards the customer needs, which gives you a unique selling point. So as they produce the product from start to finish, you can cater for the customer's exact needs. Now, in doing so, because they are fully responsible for the entire production process, and they're not, for example, just responsible for one stage of the production process, it usually means that the work is done to a higher quality because they are fully responsible. And because of that responsibility, they want to make sure that when they start it and when they finish it, it's as high quality as possible because they are responsible for all of it. Now, as we've said before, because it's more flexible, because you can personalize it, you can bespoke it, because the product quality is often higher, all of that does add value. And what I mean by adding value is it enables you to offer higher prices, but justify that high price. So meaning customers will want to buy it. And the next advantage is, because the employees are, again, involved in the whole production process and not just one stage, it is not tedious. And therefore they're highly motivated due to the unique circumstances of the production. As you can see, for example, at the video at the beginning with the wedding dress, They were involved in the design of it. They were involved in obviously putting all the materials together, stitching it, and obviously finalising it. And it's not just one stage that they're responsible for. However, job production, as with every other production process, it does have its limitations. It does have its disadvantages and its drawbacks. One of them, because it is labour intensive and because high skill level is required, often the employees may have high wage demands, or it can be quite expensive. So there is a requirement for greater investment in training, but also the labour costs are probably going to be much higher than, for example, flow production that can rely on capital, and that's more capital intensive. Remember, in the short term with flow production, there is an initial high investment cost of the capital, but in the long term, we start to see that obviously average out and we see it fall. But with job production, the initial cost might not be that high, but over the long term, it continues to be as high as what's required. Another disadvantage is the unit costs are often more expensive due to the time and labour required. Now, we could see, again, from some of those examples, the amount of detail that was going into the work. And because they're starting from the beginning to the end, and because they're obviously communicating with the customer so much with regards to exactly the requirements of what is needed, it can take time. And that's another reason why they can justify charging higher prices.